What's up, everybody? It's that time again. It's D to the J with a roll away, and it's time for the most exciting sports hour in Facebook Live and www.letgo Radio history. It's time for the Sports Minion Radio Show. I'd like to welcome everybody on December the 11th, Wednesday afternoon, as the holiday season is fast approaching, and I tell you, Thanksgiving came and went, and the holidays of Christmas, yes, I said Christmas, I'll say it again, Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. I will not take Christ out of Christmas. I don't care what anybody says. Merry Christmas to everybody, and it's coming quick. Thanksgiving came and went, the turkey's done, and now we've got Christmas coming up to see what's going to happen with that. Got a lot of things to talk about. Got a lot of sports stories to go over, and have some big stories to go over also with CP. So we will be on, hopefully we'll be on Let Go Radio shortly. But I wanted to go over the biggest thing right now that I want to go over. Our top story today is the Washington Nationals have finally made a decision to sign Stephen Strasburg, and they signed him to a 7-year deal and let me go back up here. This was a total, a 7-year deal of, let's see, let me go back up to the official contract here. I'm just trying to read a little bit. Where'd it go? Okay. So the 31-year-old got on Monday, the Nationals agreed to a record-breaking deal with the 31-year-old ace, signing Strasburg to a reported 7-year contract for $245 million. Now, this was before they had actually signed Adam Cole. I'd like to welcome those of you who are joining in to the Sports Minion Radio Show. And Adam Cole actually got signed to a $324 million deal. And it looks like this is going to be a multi-year deal as well. I'm seeing 5 years with after the 5th year, he has a chance to opt out of his contract. The difference with Strasburg is Strasburg does not have the opt-out. The 7-year deal is we're stuck with you for 7 years. We're going to work through it and do the best. And coming off that World Series win, they're going to, of course, see if they can do it again and see what's going on there. So now the problem is you've got Anthony Rendon, which is one of the best third basemen in the game, and he has yet to be signed. Now it looks like, and it's kind of controversial here, because I am hearing that they can re-sign him, and it looks like they've got about 124 to 130, I want to say 135 million dollars to work with, and I'm paraphrasing there, so don't quote me on the exact number, but in my opinion, you need to have Anthony Rendon. I mean, to be honest, for that to come in, you definitely want to have Anthony Rendon there to be able to that high-power offense and what he gave, to the team in 2019. You definitely want him to be, in the lineup for 2020. Now, are they going to do that? I really don't know, because you're talking about, salary cap workings. Of course, you can only have but so many. You can't re-sign everybody as bad as you want to. I mean, you can make other guys take pay cuts and try to, scale it down a little bit to find some room. If nothing else, sign him for, a 1 or 2 year deal, shore something up. Try to get him in there so that you can sign him to, heck, you can sign him to, a 3-year, $40 million deal. Try, or $60 million. Try to get him in there so that you've got him signed for something, because, you need that third baseman. And unfortunately, and this was a surprise to me, Gerardo Parra will not be with the team next year. He did not re-sign with the Washington Nationals, and he has been picked up by another team. So now the motivation that Gerardo Parra brought in and everything that Gerardo Parra did, you're not going to see any of that. So they picked him up to fill in. I was very surprised that they didn't sign him to a 1-year deal. Now, I will say I could see where the production offensively wasn't happening, but defensively, you look at what he did for the team defensively, especially as a stand-in. I mean, coming in off the bench, early in the season, hitting the home runs that he hit. So now you look at Ryan Zimmerman. What are they going to do there? Are they going to sign him for another year? There are so many open holes right now. You've got to see exactly where you're going to go, what you're going to do, and how things are going to be. I mean, as far as, the Nationals team has the talent, but I would honestly try to get I know Soto is good. You don't have to worry about that. But really looking at Rendon and Soto, two of the top, members there coming in, and then Howie Kendrick. I mean, that's another one. He was when Kendrick was playing and the coach used him, not every day. He was the power guy and really using him properly, and he was getting the offensive production that he wanted. And Zimmerman got hot late in the season. I mean, but that's just Ryan Zimmerman. He's going to have a chance to rest and come back healthy. Looking at Michael A. Taylor, another young player, you've got to see exactly what you need and really try to work it around to where you can fit as many of your power players as you can in that field. So we're looking at, hey, Nikki, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you coming in. I look at this and I say to myself, okay, what are the Nationals really going to do? You've got to find a way to sign Rendon. You got to find a way to get Zimmerman in there. I mean, you've got, Juan Soto, your power hitter on that, the young 21-year-old, coming into the 2020 2020 season. So, he's secured. I mean, but in order for, I believe, for the Nationals to repeat the World Series again, that you've got to have Anthony Rendon in the game. Brian Dozier's another one. Howie Kendrick's another one. And your 6, 7, 8, and 9 hitters. I mean, even the pitchers coming in. I'm glad that they re-signed Strasburg. I mean, you got to look at Corbin. What are they going to do? I know you can't sign everybody to a multi-term, multi-million-dollar contract, but I mean, $245 million in 7 years for Steven Strasburg is awesome. Hey, John, thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming in. I just actually came in. I was talking about the deal that the Nationals made with Steven Strasburg to re-sign him, to a 7-year non-opt-out for $245 million. It's a heck of a deal there to go in. But the one thing that I think the Nationals need to do in order to repeat that World Series win, number one, would be to re-sign the third baseman, Anthony Rendon. I really think that it's strong to do that. I think you got to look at re-signing Ryan Zimmerman. You got to keep Juan Soto healthy because he's hitting, he was hitting everything, the change-up, the curveball, the fastball. He's just on fire right now. I was very surprised that that Gerardo Parra wasn't signed, being to the motivation that he has, everything that he had for the team and everything that he did for the team, even in the beginning of the season. I mean, looking at Howie Kendrick is another one. That guy came off the bench hot, and as soon as he came in, you knew it was going to be good because Coach was using him. Davey Martinez was using him very sparingly, and he put him in exactly where you need. You've got Yan Gomes, you've got Kurt Suzuki, one of the best catchers in baseball, in my opinion. He knows the pitching staff well, and it's good that they were able to get Strasburg re-signed. So, I mean, you got to see what goes on. You can't re-sign everybody as bad as you want to. All right. Moving on, I want to talk about this because this bothers me, honestly. And you either like the Patriots or you don't. You either like them or you can't stand them. I've found very few people that are wishy-washy about the Patriots. They either like them or they don't. And there are plenty of haters out there. But here's the thing. This scandal for cheating that has come up with the Patriots camera being on the sideline and all of this, everybody knew what was going on. Everybody, nobody really read into it. But the press got a hold of it, and goodness gracious, when the press gets a hold of something negative, a lot of times they can turn it into a field day, and you've really got to watch what the heck you do with media in this world, because media will blow things up and out of proportion, which doesn't need to be done. Let me read just a little bit of this, and you can kind of judge for yourself. Video shot by a cameraman connected to the New England Patriots contains about 8 minutes of footage of the Cincinnati Bengals sideline. Sources who have seen the tape told Paul DeHer Jr. of the Athletic. According to DeHern Jr., the Bengals staff member was sitting in the second row of the press box during Sunday's Week 14 game against the Cleveland Browns when a videographer who works for the Patriots sat in the row ahead of him and began recording the Bengals sideline. Cincinnati is New England's next opponent. The camera reportedly captured a direct view of the Bengals coaches making hand signals and Cincinnati players running on and off the field. Another report from ESPN's Ben Beatty stated that their videographer filmed the Bengals sideline for the entire first quarter of the game. The controversy is reminiscent of the 2017 Spygate saga, for which the Patriots were fined $500,000 and stripped of the first-round draft pick after they were found to have recorded opposing signals. An NFL investigation into the Patriots turned up 8 tapes of game footage and notes with scouting information covering 7 seasons. The 10-3 Patriots will face the 1-12 Bengals on Sunday in Week 15. Now, I want to go over something with this, because you look at that and you say, oh, okay, the Patriots did it. Oh, okay, this was Look, here's the thing. Everybody does this, and the Patriots got caught, okay? You can sit there and you can report it all you want. You can look at it all you want. You got to figure out what's going on, what people are saying. But let me go back to the Patriots game against Kansas City last week, and on Sunday. And I want to talk about this because now that the call is blown and everybody is saying this, N'Keal Harry's catch, and where he was said that he was stepped out of bounds on the 3-yard line, was a clear touchdown. Okay? So now 23-16 because of a field goal instead of 23-13. I mean, you look at it, and it could have changed the momentum of the game. Being that Patriots touchdown was taken away, N'Keal Harry was clearly in bounds, and you can see from the footage, and the referees have gone back, and reporters have gone back, and I'll read some of that in a second. Everybody knew it was a touchdown. The Patriots were out of challenges, and this, the referees are botching calls so badly, and yet we have all of this instant replay, and we have a problem with the challenge situation. I think that a rule change needs to be in effect where a coach can not necessarily throw a flag, but say, hey, could we stop? Could we have a stop for a second to take a look at this? If it's an obviously blown call or a big pass that is an impact on a game, I believe the play should be able to be reviewed by either team without taking timeouts and all of that, or don't put a set number on challenges. I understand it's going to slow the game down a little bit, but you've got to be able to, hey, Blake, thank you for joining us on the Sports Minion Radio Show. We appreciate it. You've got to be able to look at these big calls to where, if Denver loses a game and it's 3 points or less, and you're looking at a pass at the end of the game, there's 6 games that Denver lost this year by 3 points or less, and a lot of it, you can talk about game winners all you want, but going back to the Patriots in Kansas City, we're looking at a definitive call. It was a clear touchdown. The referees missed the call. You could see N'Keal Harry broke the plane. He did not step out of bounds at the 3-yard line, but because the Patriots were out of challenges, they could not review it. They could not go back and say, hey, ref, can you take a look at this? That blew the game for them. It changed the momentum. Patriots ended up winning the game 23-16. And you look at it, but yet Bill Belichick, every 15 seconds, it feels like somebody's saying the Patriots are cheating. Look, I got to tell you, and it's the same thing I said at the beginning of the broadcast. I don't believe in some of the things that are done in the NFL. But with all the practices going on and all the things going on, games are videotaped and practices are videotaped all the time. You can sit there and say a camera's pointed at the sideline and picked up hand signals. Everybody does it. Belichick just got called. There's nothing wrong with it. He didn't do anything wrong. This is going to come out of the wash just like the last one came out. I want to talk a minute about Tom Brady, though, and here's why. I'm so sick of people saying the Patriots are done. Now, understand, I am not a Patriots fan. I am not one of these guys who even I couldn't stand the Patriots because they were winning all the time. And there are a lot of people like that. There are a lot of people that say, oh, I can't stand the Patriots because they win all the time. I wish somebody will beat them. Well, you know what? Until somebody's able to stop them, knock them out of the playoffs, and prevent them from winning Super Bowls, it's going to continue to happen. Tom Brady, whether you want to admit it or not, or you look at the stats, look at what he's done, look at, been to 7 Super Bowls. My God, what else does the man have to do to prove that he's the best quarterback of all time? Brady has done so many things and broken so many records, and it's not about the records for Brady. Brady plays the game. I mean, he wants to play till he's 50, and I believe he can do it. The conditioning, the work ethic, and everything that he puts through. Their offensive line is banged up. Their receivers they don't have a lot of people to run and work with. But yet they stay in these games and they're 10-3, and everybody keeps saying, oh, the Patriots are done. They have played against tough teams. People can be beaten on any given Sunday, and I think our fans have forgotten about this because they think that that Brady is the cause of the problem. Brady can't do everything. Brady can't play on defense. Brady can't play every position. I appreciate that, Blake. Thanks a lot. Brady can't do everything. Brady can't be everywhere. He is one player on the team that plays quarterback. It doesn't matter who's back there. If the offensive line can't block, Brady's going to get hurt and Brady's going to get sacked. But he has the maneuverability and the football intelligence to put the ball where it needs to go before the ball ever goes out of his hands. Tom Brady is one of the quarterbacks that realize in the NFL where the ball is going to go before he throws it. He knows where his receivers need to be. That's why Brady's fired up. That's why Brady's frustrated. That's why Brady is angry. He has a right to be because the offensive production isn't there. Bill Belichick can work on that. He can fix that. The Patriots will go to the playoffs. The Patriots will go to the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a close one because it's going to be tough. And you've seen the adversity of the Patriots come through before with all of this stuff that's going on. You lose receivers, you lose linemen, you lose offense, you lose defense, and Belichick has said it all year long. Just do your job. It's the next man up. And as Belichick would say, we're moving on to Cincinnati, and that's where we're going to go. So I want to talk about something with Cincinnati. You look at Cincinnati right now, coming in, and they've had a rough season. They are 1-12. You look at Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton was benched. Everybody said Andy Dalton's done. Andy Dalton is a good quarterback. You put it back in. You bench the backup. And look at what happens. He wins the game, and the Bengals are no longer winless. Sometimes it's a change in attitude. Sometimes it's a change in style. You've got to know what happens, when, and where to make it happen. You've got to stay in the game and got to do the best you can. Speaking of football decisions, and here's a tough one. I said I was going to talk about this. Dwayne Haskins. I've got to say, the game against the Packers, 20-15, heck of a game for Dwayne. Threw an interception, threw a touchdown. He's doing a lot better. He's making a lot of good football decisions. But again, Darius Geis going down for the rest of the season, out. Okay, 2 games. Now you've got Smallwood. Now you've got Peterson. And yet the Redskins now, even though it's too little too late, the Redskins now have the identity. I believe that Bill Callahan can do something next year. I do not like the offensive coordinator. As a matter of fact, I can't stand him. I don't think his play calls are that great. I think that Dwayne Haskins is beginning to develop, and I think they're going to keep him for another year. I don't think they should trade him because if you don't give a quarterback a chance to play a full season with a healthy line and get the reps that he needs, and here's the thing. I've said this all year long, and I'm going to say it again. The problem with the Redskins is they have no offensive line. The defense has kept the Redskins in a lot of games this year to where they're not blown out. Now, the Redskins have sucked this year. I'm going to go flat off and say that point blank. I understand that. But when you have a line that doesn't give Dwayne Haskins time to throw, it does not matter who's back there. It does not matter who's in the game. If a safety or a defensive end comes through unblocked and untouched, that's not Dwayne Haskins' fault. Now, the problem with Dwayne Haskins is, and what he didn't see on Sunday's game, there was a play where Dwayne Haskins moved the line to the left. It was a pass play, and Dwayne Haskins, when you move the line to the left, you are responsible for the rusher coming in on your right. And Dwayne Haskins did not go through his reads and step up. He tried to run around. He's got to learn to step up more and actually learn to go through the game itself and look at his reads 1, 2, 3, 4 and get rid of the ball quick. He has done better in the games that he's played, and again, part of that is experience, but I said this, and lo and behold, it happened. He was limping in Sunday's game, and Lord have mercy, Jesus, the coach done kept him in there, gonna have him limping around like a hobbling little doll, limping, throw, and what's gonna happen? You keep doing that, you're going to get him hurt. You're going to get busted in the leg, and that's going to be it. You're going to end the season. I've said if you put him out there, you're going to get him hurt, and that's what's happened. In a situation like that, when your quarterback is your quarterback's supposed to be the franchise quarterback of the future, if he's hurt, I'm glad he can play through the pain. Yes, he showed mental toughness. Yes, he showed physical toughness. But when a quarterback is sacked 6 times, and he's hurt, take him out of the game and let Keenum get in there. Keenum is the veteran. Keenum is aware of where the ball's supposed to go. Yes, I understand you're trying to get Haskins as much playing time and snaps as you possibly can, but you've got to make a smart decision and say, look, we're going to take Haskins out for this game. And we're going to put Keenum in, and we're going to deal with that. So you've got to, because you've got to let him heal so that he can possibly play. I mean, he couldn't even barely drop back to throw, and yet, you've got him limping around, and he's still in there. Take him out, let Keenum play, let Haskins heal. All right, so that's that. Now, what do we do for the draft? Number 1. We've got to fix the O-line. It doesn't matter who's back there. It doesn't matter who's quarterbacking at the time. Doesn't matter if it's Haskins. Doesn't matter if it's Keenum. Doesn't matter if it's Colt McCoy. There's a young man from Hawaii who's really good. I believe the Redskins may end up drafting him. They're not going to have the first pick of the draft, but they're going to be between 3 and 5. I believe they're actually going to come out at 3 to pick. Remember what happened last time? We gave up 4 picks for RG3. You've got to be smart. Look at what you really need and get the O-line fixed first. You've got to replace that left left tackle. You've got to get rid of Morgan Moses because he's not doing his job. You've got Ionitis and Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen on your defense. Your defense is pretty good. Shore up your corners, shore up your offensive line, and worry about, if the quarterback is there, go ahead and take him if you're going to do it. Now, all right, that's pretty much what I've got story-wise. Strasburg re-signed with the Nationals. Didn't re-sign Rendon. Need to work on that. Went through the Belichick thing with the supposed tape scandal. Leave him alone. Not doing anything wrong. Okay, yeah, he got fined $500,000. That's chunk change to him. Man's won so many Super Bowls, he probably invented the daggone thing. So that's the end of that. All right, so I want to go through this very, very, very quickly. I want to go through my picks for next week and also the scores for next week, just to go from that to throw my picks out there. All right, so basically looking at the games from last week, I tell you, the one that really stood out to me out of all the games was San Francisco and New Orleans, and that came down to the wire. Let me pull some stats up real quick. Let me go over this because this game, to me, was monumental. I got to be honest. You got the Saints at 10-3. You got San Francisco at 11-2. And right now, I got to tell you, goodness gracious, let me get the stats pulled up because this one was the game to remember. And Drew Brees was on fire. Garoppolo was on fire. All right, so let's take a look at what we've got. Jimmy Garoppolo, he had, 2 rushes for 1 yard, so that wasn't that exciting. 349 passing yards, 4 passing TDs, an interception. Raheem Mostert, 10 rushes, 69 yards. He had the one long run for the TD. Again, you got Matt Breida, 6 for 54. You got, Sanders, 7 receptions, 157 yards, a TD. Goodness gracious. Hooey. George Kittle. I'm telling you what, George Kittle, in my opinion, right now is playing at a Gronkowski level. 6 catches, 67 yards, 1 TD, and I mean when he catches, this dude is like a bulldozer with legs. I have never seen a tight end go in here and hit this hard, and being able, speaking of one-handed catches, for 1 second I'm gonna go back when when the receiver for McLaurin made that one-handed grab where the quarterback for the Redskins threw it, and Haskins threw it, and I mean reached out with one hand, turned, kept the ball from hitting the ground, and you can't teach that. McLaurin is too good. He did the same thing in college, and Kittle's the same way. He'll go up and make a catch, and you're like, how in the world did he grab that? So I mean, you got Deebo Samuel, the wide receiver, 5 for 76 yards. 2 rushes for 33. I mean, good God. Now, Robbie Gould, 2 for 2, 41 is his longest. I mean this, whoo, and the game. There weren't much defense in this game. Let me tell you, Drew Brees, 29 of 40, 349 yards, 5 passing TDs, no interceptions, no sacks. I'm telling you right now, Drew Brees is another. He's another one that's in there. Tyson Hill, 5 rushes, 13 yards. You don't think about, the offense that this man brings to the table. Latavius Murray, 7 for 69. Alvin Kamara, 13 for 25. Not his best game. Receiving wise, Jared Cook, 2 for 64. Ted Ginn Jr., 4 for 50. Again, Josh Hill, 2 for 4. And here's where the Saints are strong, getting the backs involved. Latavius Murray, 2 for 25. Michael Thomas, 11 receptions, 134 yards, and a TD. And, of course, Josh Hill had the TD. Everybody had Traquan Smith had the TD. Good Lord. Dante Harris had a TD. I mean, goodness gracious. It back and forth, came down to the wire. Saints ended up losing that one. And what a game. I mean, you cannot sit there and deny the amazing, amazing game that the 49ers and the Saints were. Saints just lost it 48-46. Got to play better defense than that. And both of the quarterbacks had the exact number, 26 of 35, 349 for Garoppolo, 29 of 40, 349 for Drew Brees. Very, very similar in passing stats there. Now, here's the situation. I believe that San Francisco is going to go. It'll be either San Francisco or Kansas City, or possibly the team that San Francisco just played, New Orleans. And of course the Patriots are going to be, the other team that's in. So you got to look at it the whole way. Let me look at next week and give you the picks real quick, and we'll go over our excuse me, guys, our CP issue for the day. Sorry about that. My words got tangled up. But I want to go over the matchups for next week and give you my predictions real quick as we pull this up. All right, so for week 15, all right, we got the Jets in Baltimore. That's obvious. Baltimore by a bunch. Buffalo and Pittsburgh. I'm going to call Buffalo on this one because Buffalo had a rough game last week. Patriots and Bengals. If the Patriots can't beat the Bengals, something's wrong. That's the bottom line. Chicago and Green Bay. I'm going to call Green Bay by 3 after their win last week. Miami at New York. Miami's going to take that one by 10. Philadelphia at Washington. I'm calling Washington by 10 there. Jaguars and Oakland, going to call Oakland by 3. Rams and Cowboys. Rams going to take that one all the way. Final score 21-14. Let's see. We got Indianapolis at New Orleans. That's going to be a game, but I think Drew Brees is going to light it up again. I'm going to say New Orleans by 7 there. Seattle and Carolina. Seattle's going to walk all over them by 14. Tampa Bay at Detroit. That's going to be a game and a half, but I am going to take Detroit by 3. Denver at Kansas City. Kansas City going to take that one by 14. Houston and the Titans. I'm going to call the Houston Texans on that one by 10. Cleveland Browns at Arizona. I'm going to say Cleveland takes that one by 7. Miami versus Los Angeles the LA Chargers is going to be Miami by 14 there. And then finally Atlanta versus San Francisco. Not a lot of defense in that game. Another high score, 35-21. I'm going to say the 49ers pull that one out. All right, so now I want to go ahead and talk about our CP issue for the day, and I want to go over that, just a couple of things. Hey, how are you? Thank you for joining, Catherine. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming in to the Sports Minion Radio Show. Now, the issue that I want to talk about today, since we covered the sports already, and of course you can go back and catch that if you're just coming in, is dealing with cerebral palsy and your child or adult's schooling privileges for high school and also elementary school. So how and why are they treated differently? How and why can we, why does this happen and how can we stop it? Okay. So before I begin talking about the CP issue today, I want to talk about what led me to this. I've explained to a lot of folks that I've been teaching in martial arts for over a year now, about a year and a half. And teaching has really opened my eyes to a lot of things. Well, the great point about all this, and what I want to talk about is I met a young man that was new to karate, and I've worked with him about 3 times. His name is Danny, and he has cerebral palsy. He is not confined to a chair. He is one of very few people that I have seen that has cerebral palsy but is not in a wheelchair, that he can walk unassisted and quite well. You do see some of the muscle tightness, and you do see some of the motor control and motor skill issues that come with CP. But the thing that really, I said this yesterday when Facebook was having the issue with videos not going up. When God blesses you, you should really let the world know. And God blessed me on Monday, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I got a chance to work with Danny, and I saw dramatic improvement with him in the muscle control, in muscle memory, and just all around. Danny's just a great guy. Danny's 14 years old, and I got a chance to meet with Danny's parents, and they told me, that I was an inspiration, that it was great that I got to work with Danny, and thanked me over and over and over again. And I took his parents to the back, and I got a chance to meet them, and they asked a little bit about my story, and how I ended up at Tiger Martial Arts, and how I became a black belt, this, that, and the other. And I told that story, and I told them, that when I started martial arts, I was very overweight, and that I, did not have much use of my legs, and it was a struggle. But I got in shape very quickly with martial arts. I got in shape, with Tiger Martial Arts, and with my instructors that worked with me, and it became. I said the key for Danny is, now that he's involved in this, as it becomes simpler, as it becomes, the muscle memory starts picking up, and as he becomes more familiar with some of the techniques that I'm teaching him, where he doesn't have to think about it so much, it's going to become fun. I said right now it's new, and he's having to take every technique because he's done, not done this before. The thing about that really impressed me about Danny's parents is they're fighters. They believe in their son. Both his mother and father believe in their son wholeheartedly, and they know he's a smart individual. And he's at 14 years old, he's at a college level on some things. So he's very smart, and always tries to look at the positive side of life. Well, Danny's mom, and I cannot remember her name for the life of me, so I apologize to his mom. But she asked me a question about Tiger, and she said, do you think that Danny could ever get to a point where Tiger will say, this is not working, and kick him out, and he be taken out of the program? I said, and I said this, and I quote, I highly doubt it. I said the only way that you can ever truly be kicked out of Tiger is to stop trying. I said Danny can do anything he wants if he puts his mind to it. And the thing, I saw Danny's mom kind of sit back, and her eyes lit up. She didn't really get emotional, but you could see that she was interested in what I had to say. When I told her that I was working with, Kelly's Choice, and that I did the radio show, and that, how did I, there were so many questions that she had. We talked for about 15 minutes. And to be honest, again, it goes to, a platform like this, a platform like Kelly's Choice, a mom that has fought with her child, every day, trying to get him the best education she can. And when I told her that as long as Danny gives his best effort and gives everything he can, because you get in what you put out, what you put in, you get out of martial arts. And I said, martial arts is not for everybody, but the thing about it is, when you have dedication and you have the wisdom to keep going, it is I said, the thing that can stop you is stopping martial art, is quitting. I said, that is the only way to really not be part of the program, is to stop. And she was silent for a moment, and she kept thanking me over and over. And for the life of me, I couldn't kept saying, there's no need to thank me. You didn't, that's why I'm here. My goal is to reach people. And I kept saying that. Well, she told me this story about Danny being being homeschooled because that she could not get a IEP. They would not allow Danny to have an IEP because he had CP. The school just would not allow him to have one, said he did not qualify for one. Now, to my understanding, when a child is having difficulty learning or not enough time to finish tests, or having issue with focusing, and there needs to be an IEP involved, that is where it is a law, because you're preventing the child from learning to his best ability. Because I was not in special education classes at all, and neither is Danny. I don't believe, if I remember right from what his parents said. The problem is the school system will push that away, and the school system, you can even have an IEP to where the school system a lot of times will not enforce it, and the problem there, because the thing about, she asked me, what do you do? I said, listen, my mom had the same battle. And one of the problems that Danny has is, of course, walking, because he has CP. When you carry a heavy book bag and you have trouble balancing already, you can have it put in your IEP that the school system is required to furnish a set of books. Now, you will be responsible if they're lost or damaged, and understand there's give and take with the IEP, because each state is different, and each school system may be different. So you got to check your rules and regulations. But to have a set of books at home to where he doesn't have to carry, 2 or 3, 2 book bags around with all this stuff in it, is going to make it easier on him. Now, the thing I told her, what do I do when the school says he can't have it? What do I do when the school says he shouldn't have it? What do I do when the school won't let him have it? The first thing that you do is you contact your school board and your school administration. You talk to the principal, you talk to the school board, you get your DSB, or Disability Services Board, for your area. You contact attorneys. You've got to fight, and this. Understand that this topic, it really frustrates me, because this is not easy. Nothing about this is easy. Fighting for a child or a person with CP is never easy. The battle is tough. The battle is strenuous. The battle is hard. No matter what you go through, no matter what you do, that battle is one of the toughest battles that you're ever going to face. If you were a parent, grandparent, foster parent of a child, or an adult, or a middle-aged person with CP, you've got to continue to fight, and the fight does not cease. And it starts in grammar school, getting the occupational therapy and the physical therapy and the IEPs. And this is where you go to the principal and say, my child needs this because he has trouble taking tests. One of the things that I had to have with mathematics, I understand mathematics better than most people, but I understand it differently. I have trouble writing it out on a blackboard where I can do math verbally like that. And one of my teachers in my 9th grade class, Mrs. Wessner, figured out what was happening. I remember she was teaching in front of a class, and I was very quiet, and she says, DJ, I want you to solve this equation. And I said, well, Ms. Wessner, I said, I can't really write it out. She said, I can tell you. So she followed me, and I said, X plus Y minus B, blah, blah, blah. And I do the equation. I'm doing the equation so fast that she's having trouble. Multiply this side times 6, and I go through the whole thing, and she's going, wow. So from that moment, she realized that I could do the math verbally in seeing and explaining what to do and where to go with the numbers, that I knew where they were, that I started to begin to take my test verbally. And I remember my 9th grade exam, there were 2 bonus questions, and I was the only one in the class to ace the exam with 108.4, and I remember that number because I got both of the mathematical equations right that were extra credit for the exam and aced the exam. Now, the problem is all of this thing, and some of it with school and some of it with IEP, is trial and error. But the rules have to be enforced, and you cannot let anyone tell you that you cannot have something because you're not allowed to have it. If the school can't provide it, they need to give you documentation as to why, and they need to explain, okay, then we need to come up with an alternative where my child can learn the best way for him or her possible. And that's the thing. There has to be ways, whether it's online, looking at Woodrow Wilson, the Center for Employment in Fishersville, Virginia, whether it's a trade school, whether it's homeschool, whether it's finding a private tutor. And public school is tough because there's so many changes with SOLs and tests and regulations. But again, that is where the Disability Service Board, that is where your city council, that is where your congressman, that is where the principal, that is where the school board, all of these people come into play. And you have to realize, if it's something that your child needs, sometimes you've got to go the extra mile and fight until you get it. I think there was a thing, with the IEP where, I wanted to sit in front of the class because I was able to learn more, to hear more, to focus more. I was able to focus better because I was sitting in front of the room instead of the middle of the room. Notice that, again, the extra set of books, I had that to carry, I got the extra set of books home. And here's the thing. The school tried to say, we're not responsible for that. We don't have to give your son an extra set of books. He's got a set of books that we provide for him already. All right, here's the problem with that. My mom said this, and I quote, "My son rolls in a manual chair. You put a book bag on the back of his chair that weighs more than he does." I was in a size 18 boys when I was in high school. And here's the thing. If he flips over with that book bag on the back of his chair and busts his head wide open and I sue the school, then what happens? The very next day, I had a full set of books to take home because my mom fought for it. Sorry, my throat's dry. So there is a time when you've got to put your foot down, when you've got to press hard, when you got to press through, when you got to go through the wall. You got to fight for what you want. You got to fight for your child, your son, your daughter, your foster child, whatever you've got. If you want he or she to have it, if you want him or her to go through it, if you believe in your child, you got to fight for them, and you got to go that extra mile. You can't just sit there and accept no. Sometimes there has to be a forced yes. Sometimes you got to play your cards harder. And I get emotional about this because I see children with CP being mistreated. I see them fight so hard, and school systems say no, and colleges say no, and workplaces say no. And sometimes you got to knock them on their rear end to get them to realize that there is a yes involved. And the hard part about life is it takes a toll. It takes a toll mentally. It takes a toll spiritually. It takes a toll emotionally. All those tolls it takes on you when you fight for your child. Yes, I understand that, but look at what it does to the person that is involved the most. The child who is already struggling and goes behind because he doesn't learn or she doesn't learn because that IEP, one of the things that my IEP required was that I had extra time for tests, because when your child is timed and they're already trying to process the information and they're already trying to go through and they already are trying to push everything forward, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you have to find that other motive or that other opportunity or that other way of doing things. It's not necessarily that your child can't get it done. It's just that he or she may have a different way of doing it. So when dealing with your school, when dealing with books, when dealing with IEPs, they can and should be enforced. Please contact your school board. Research the school that you're going to put your child into. And once you get him in there, if they tell you that he needs a special ed class and you don't want your child in special ed because you know that your child can learn, you've got to fight the hard way. And that probably is one of the hardest battles right there to fight, when they tell you your child can't learn this way and you say, yes, you can. You just got to do it different. Now, I've got about 9 minutes left in the show, and I want to talk about something very funny because I hit the issue, and I hope this answered some of the questions that Danny's mom had, and I'll keep y'all updated on this. Sorry we weren't able to go to Let Go Radio today. I don't know what happened. Not sure what's going on. I'll get back with Miss Winnie and let you guys know. But I want to talk about something very funny because this happened to me, and it was just hilarious. Josh, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming in. Please go back and view the show. We had a very powerful issue with children in school and IEPs and fighting for your child in school to get an extra set of books if he or she needs it. Make sure that you have a chance to tune in and check that out. Now, what I want to talk about, I'm a Red Dead fan, and I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 since I first got the game last year. I got it just about 3 weeks after it came out. Emily wanted it. She got it, and I started liking the game, and then I started playing it nonstop. Well, here's what happened. I'm playing Red Dead last night, and I'm one of the guys, I like to go through the game thoroughly and do everything and figure everything out, find everything. That's from my brother. I've been playing role-playing games since I was little, and when there's a lot to do, you have to section things off and blah, blah, blah. Well, one of the things you can do in this game is tame horses. And I got the fastest horse in the game. I think I got the prettiest horse in the game. And, man, I love this horse. At level 1, this horse was faster than any other horses I had, and this is at level 1. A horse can go up to level 4. It was so funny because I'm working on this horse, and I get this horse to level 1 and all of this, and I'm working with this horse for 20 minutes. I'm telling Emily, man, this horse is great. Man, this is the best horse in the world. Man, I love this horse. And all at once, here we go. I'm going, and I'm just running, going down the pathway, trying to figure things out, trying to go somewhere. I'm just running to the left, running to the right, and I'm going to go across the railroad tracks, and here comes the train. And I'm looking, and I said, here comes the train, and I got the horse, and I'm running, and I'm going down the parkway trying to find it now. And here we go. I'm going to beat the train, and all of a sudden I get right there to the edge, and bam! There it goes. I mean, my horse just gets plastered by this train. My horse goes topsy-turvy. I go flying. I go rolling down the railroad tracks, getting out of the way, and my horse is getting run over 15 times by 15 different cars on the train. And I know this is that. I'm going, oh, my God, no! I've lost my horse. The world's over, and everybody's losing it. My wife is laughing hysterically because I'm telling her, I said, this train done killed my horse. This train, yeah. This train done kill my horsey. This train done kill my horsey. This train done kill my horsey. And she ain't got no brain, 'cause this train done kill my horsey. This train. I mean, I'm just singing, and Emily is in there in the bedroom, and she goes in the restroom to go, before we go to bed, and she's just sitting there for 20 minutes, and she's just hysterically laughing because she visualizes the horse getting hit right in the rear end, and just flipping the horse up in the air, and my saddle goes one way and the horse goes another, and I'm still singing, all these different verses of the song, and Marshall looks and says, yeah, your horse exploded, and I said, yeah, that's what happened. My horse exploded, and I was going to beat the train. I didn't beat the train, and I can just imagine my little horsey's look on its face, Why could you do this to me? I was running good for you, and then all of a sudden you just ran me right into the train. That horse had to be like, what the is that? Oh, my God. And all of a sudden it just, bam, the train runs into it. It implodes. The train just keeps on going. The conductor's like, oh, I think we hit a rock. Nope, that was my horse, and my horse died. and I was not able to revive her because she was rolled over by a 12-car train. It was very tragic. I was very sad, and I've been talking about it for 2 days. And for 2 days, Emily has been laughing at me because this train done killed my horsey. This train. Yeah, this train done killed my horsey. This train. I said, this train done killed my horsey. I hope I don't get a divorce. This train done killed my horsey. This train. There it is right there. That's the end of the song. And y'all, I want to tell you, thank you for tuning in. You can contact me on www.facebook.com/the Sports Minion Radio Show for the like page. You can contact me on my Dennis Carter Facebook. You can contact me on my DJ Carter Facebook. You can contact me on email if you have a question about a CP issue or about the show or about a sports question. You can contact me at the Sports Minion Radio Show at yahoo.com. We are on every Wednesday from 2 to 3 o'clock on Let Go Radio most of the time, and also on Facebook Live. So as I say every week, I appreciate you guys tuning in and calling in and listening, and all the questions and emails that I get. I will get to the email bag that next week. I'm sorry I didn't do it this week, but I've got a lot going on. Guys, most of all, the last thing I want to say before I close the show is please remember to be safe this holiday season. It is not about the gift. It is about the giving. It is about being Christ-like for Christmas and trying to stay in a positive manner. No gift is worth your life. There are some crazy people out there in this world. Please remember to take care of yourself. Be aware of your surroundings. Do not go out alone. Make sure that you go with somebody. If you are in a dark area and you are not around people, get to a lit area. Make sure you have your alarm, your key alarm with you. Set that bad boy off. If you feel like you're threatened, scream, yell. Make sure that you get someone's attention, and make sure that someone is near you so that they can understand exactly what's going on. And most of all, call 911. But remember this, I love you guys, and your life is far too precious to be lost over a package. So make sure that you're aware of what you've got, but also make sure that you understand that a package can be replaced. Your life, unfortunately, cannot. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Sports Minion Radio Show, and I really enjoy doing this. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for the comments, for the questions. I always say this is D to the J with the roll away. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. And oh, my horse Sugar Pea, I'm so sorry for killing you by the train. I didn't mean to let the train run you over. I say I know my horsey gonna live again, because I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna find her, and she gonna gallop through the ages past the train, because this train done killed my horsey, but I'm gonna find me another one. Yes, I do. Yes, I say D to the J with a roll away. I'll see you guys next week for the Sports Minion Radio Show, where I deliver sports to the community the best way I can. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with a roll away, saying I'll see you next week. Have a happy, happy holiday, and we'll see you Wednesday at 2 o'clock for the next edition of the Sports Minion Radio Show.